about 8:45 on Midsummer Day, and I've got the beach to myself. But nice though this is, we're going to strike inland today, following the Dalton Burn. And this is where it all ends and begins. It's where the burn ends its journey and meets the sea, and where we start to follow it back towards its source, or at least one of its sources. Looks dry, but there is running water in the tunnel. There's just not the force of water at the moment to carve out a channel to the sea, so it seeps through the shingle instead. That's the course of the burn, though it's buried deep. But, you're never sure if this sculpture is meant to mark the confluence of the burn and the sea. Today, let's give it the benefit of the doubt and say it does. Rock House Dean. And some rocks with houses painted on them. Rock houses. Get it? There it is. The first sighting of the Dalton Burn, actually looking like a burn. from this point, the burn travels through private land. So we've got to detour up these steps. It looks like it crosses under the road, right about here. There's a Catholic church in Sunderland that is built on exactly the same lines. Same plan, same building materials, same statues. Was it possible to buy a church in kit form from a catalog, and all you had to do was put it together? Digression over. Let's go find that burn. Seems like getting down to it will involve a bit of scrambling, and it's really too hot to contemplate that. Let's see if we can find an easier path, This looks a little bit less extreme. Looking rather different to the last section. After all that scrambling through the undergrowth, I've just noticed a flight of steps, At this point, the burn is emerging from what is probably its longest underground section. Okay, let's see where the steps go to. They seem to stop here, a few feet short of the top. The steps almost brought us back onto the footpath. these manhole covers chart the route of the burn here. This is where the burn is at its most manicured. The burn leaves the park, and so must we. Back underground it goes. The reason for putting this stretch underground isn't clear, but its absence from the landscape allows our attention to be directed over the road. Dalden Tower, a fortified manor with its origins in the 12th century. We're leaving Seaham. And so is the Burn. Another distraction, a wayside spring. It doesn't seem to have a name. Photos from the Edwardian or maybe Victorian era show it to have once had a more ornate facade. Naturally, I threw in a coin and made a wish. Looks like I'm not the only one. Yeah. In the recent past, flowers have been left here. I was half expecting to see a solstice or midsummer offering. Right next to the road, but how many motorists even know it's here? An old boundary stone dated 1852. Dalton Bridge, late 18th century, I think. It used to carry the main road in those days. It's a public footpath today. passes beneath it. Time for more scrambling about among the trees if I can find a not too extreme route. That's the actual Dalton Burn trickling out of that pipe. It's kind of counterintuitive because the Dalton Burn meets an unnamed tributary at this point. But the tributary seems to be the bigger stream. And I'm not sure, but it's possible the tributary rises at the lake at Dalton Park. Can't be much more than a mile long. The A19 river of deadly moving metal. Luckily there's a bridge. The burn goes under it, and we have to go over it. Safely on the other side of the A19. This looks like the low point. The burn could be here, but it's still underground. In fact, it's underground right across this meadow. The burn is down there, right by that wrecked car. Keep getting forced away from the burn by the undergrowth. Another wreck. Geez, yeah. And another one. There's 5 or 6 down here. The Valley of Dead Cars. Carmageddon, yeah. just for a change, a wrecked fridge freezer. The Burn enters private land here, so we've got to detour around the long way. Watergate Lake, the Dalton Burn, feeds into it at this end, feeds out at the other. The burn just before it flows into the lake. If you look carefully, you can see a small fish. We can't follow the course directly here, so we have to detour again. It's down there, somewhere. Looking a little bit stagnant, but water nevertheless. The source of the Dalton Burn is in there somewhere, or at least one of the sources. There's another one which is a bit further from the sea, but that's on private land. Joins our stream somewhere along the line. But this one will do for me. A source of the Dalton Burn on Midsummer's Day.